How's it going, guys? Nintendo Enthusiast here. So all of the Breath of the Wild 2 analysis videos have gotten to me. I've been bitten by the bug, and now I'm doing my own research and discovering a few things along the way that I think are actually really interesting, and I'm going to go over them in this trailer. But first, I'm going to play the original Breath of the Wild trailer right next to the brand new Breath of the Wild trailer, and let's see if you notice anything. But if you don't worry. Afterwards, I'm going to go over and talk about some of the things that I've noticed that might just be coincidences, but I think there's a possibility that they are actually intentional. So without further ado, let's play both trailers at the exact same time and see if they line up in any interesting ways. Did you notice anything? Maybe not, maybe you did. Here's a few things that I had noticed though. First off, both trailers open up very similar, with the left side being that it's all green and more, I guess, alive looking, and then the right side is dark and red and a lot more scary looking. So these things flying across the screen, right here you might notice, some of them line up in interesting ways. This could definitely be nothing, but I just wanted to point them out because there are a few times that they kind of look connected. This is the screen perfectly cut down the middle, and you'll notice they line up a few times. See that right there? It just a bit interesting that they line up like that. That could definitely just be a coincidence. I think this game's going to focus heavily on time, and I think that's pretty obvious from the trailer. I mean, Link has a new rewind mechanic, but I think it's more so than just that. I think the game might actually take place during two different time zones or timelines. And yeah, I just wanted to highlight that these do line up a bit. There's a few more, like right there. See how it perfectly lines up? Definitely could totally just be a coincidence, but I did want to point it out. Okay, so the beginning of the trailer, aside from these things lining up and whatnot, there's nothing that really lines up or makes any sense until we get to right around here. You'll see that it shows this hand that's, I think this is the hand that's like awakening Ganon, and then this is Link's hand. And I just thought it was a little peculiar that it shows them at the exact same time. Now, I'm not 100% sure what this hand is. It doesn't look evil like the rest of the world. It's green and I guess less evil looking, I don't know. And it's the thing that awakens Ganon. And that kind of makes me wonder, why is it waking up Ganon? Like, why would it do that? And then right here is where it's pretty interesting. You see Link's new arm that looks really similar to this hand. I'm assuming they're connected in some way. I think this is going to be like the Sheikah Slate of the game. This is where Link's going to get his new powers, like rewinding time and going through walls that we saw later on in the trailer. But that's not all. Aside from the hands both showing up at the exact same time in the trailer, another thing to point out is right here. This is the biggest deal of the entire video. As the video plays, you'll notice the castle. Right whenever it starts lifting here on the left side, on the right side, you see the smoke shoot out, basically at the exact same time. So yeah, the castle lifts at pretty much the exact same time in both trailers. But one thing to point out is that here on the left side, it's bright and more, I guess, daylight. And then on the right side, it's a lot darker. Now this could be because when you get closer to the castle, things look darker, whereas when you're further away, things are more like, you're not really affected by the darkness that's surrounding the castle. But on the right side, it's a lot darker. So is this the exact same time the castle is lifting? Maybe not. Maybe it lifts more than once. But if I had to guess, I would say that this is the castle lifting at the exact same time from two different perspectives, one which is far away and in daylight, and the other one which is close up, and the closer you get to the castle, the darker things get. That's just kind of how Zelda works a lot of the time. And yeah, that's just one thing I thought was really interesting. The very beginning, where these little squiggly things line up a few times. This obviously isn't a big deal, but I guess it is something to point out. You'll see it right there, like they line up there. It's not really a big deal though. But I think the robot, or not robot, but the arm showing up at the exact same time I think it has to mean something. I'm not sure what. It looks like two different versions of the same arm. This one is actually connected to Link. This one is awakening Ganon for some reason. I guess we'll figure out why. Or maybe, honestly, I don't know what it's doing, but it looks like it's waking up Ganon from being sealed away. And then finally, I think the biggest deal is the fact that the castle lifts at almost the exact same time. It's so close, it's crazy. I'll try and get it exact. On the left side, you'll see the dust starts to come up right there, and then on the right side, right there. So it's like such a small amount of time, but almost looks like it's the exact same on both sides, just from two different perspectives. That's almost everything I wanted to show off today. In this original trailer, I recently posted on Twitter that this shot of Zelda doing that, same energy as this shot from Ocarina of Time. So yeah, I just thought this was another thing to point out, that they turn around so similarly. Like the arm right here, then we got the arm going down more, and then they end with the hand right next, closer to the mouth. This one's higher up, and then this arm's a little further down, but that's a very similar pose, in my opinion. And the way they turn around, they're startled, and their facial expressions look the exact same. And I don't think that's a coincidence. I think whoever did this brand new Breath of the Wild 2 animation was probably taking inspiration from this. Does this mean anything? Maybe not. I do think it is a nice little callback though, because look at that. It's so similar. But this once again harkens back to, I think Breath of the Wild 2 is all about time. And I think they could do a lot of cool things with that. I'm hoping that we get a lot of callbacks to other events that happened in the Zelda timeline. Breath of the Wild did that with some of its environments, but I think if Nintendo went all the way and did sort of this multiple timeline multiverse ordeal that they sort of created with the Zelda Hyrule book, that doesn't really make much sense. I still think it could be really cool in Breath of the Wild 2, which we know already focuses heavily on time. I think that's pretty obvious, and that pretty much goes hand in hand with Zelda. Be sure to let me know what you think about all of this down in the comments section below. Do you think any of it could mean anything, or are you of the mind that neither of these trailers connect and some of this stuff is just a coincidence, like the arm, the squigglies, which are definitely probably just a coincidence. But I think the arm showing and the castle lifting at the exact same time is more than just a coincidence, but that's just me. Like I said, let me know what you think, and if you enjoyed this analysis, or I guess theory on Zelda Breath of the Wild 2, be sure to hit that thumbs up. If you didn't, hit that thumbs down. Thanks a lot for watching, and I will talk to you guys later. See ya.